Let's start seated today. So just rolling around, rocking back and forth on those sit bones. Grow your spine a little bit taller. Take a deep inhale, filling your low belly, expand out. Exhale. Let it go. Good. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhale. Let it go. Good. Continuing to breathe in that manner. Deep inhale, filling your low belly, expand out. Deep exhale, just feeling everything soften a little bit on the exhale. Holding on to this really tall spine, but just allow your shoulders to soften just a little bit. You allow the tension from your toes. If all out there are screaming children where we're at. So whatever sounds you have going on, just allow them to happen, realizing that you are apart from them. Deep inhale. Exhale, good. Slowly bring your fingertips just to your sides and start to walk them away from you. Good. And getting them as far as you can and just pausing there. Really tall spine. Noticing how that feels through your shoulders, through your forearms, those creases in your elbows. Deep inhale here. Exhale. Soften. Maybe you can scoot your fingers out a couple more centimeters. Good. Exhale, plant your right hand all the way down on the floor and then inhale your left hand up overhead. Just lengthening out through your side body. Good. We're going to stretch our left hand beyond our right knee, just stretching it forward, and then we're going to bring the arm in front of us. Plant your left hand down and bring your right hand up. Good. Just switching sides. Same thing, stretching your right fingertips past your left knee in a circle in front of you. Back to left hand overhead. Just start to move in this pattern in your own breath, in your own time. Kind of starting to notice how it feels to move through your side body and your neck today. One more time in each direction. Good. Exhale, slowly coming back to a neutral spine. Sitting up a little bit taller. Walking your hands behind you just slightly, so high up on your fingertips behind you. Roll your shoulder blades back and down. Chest is proud, gaze goes up towards the sky. Just noticing how it feels to open up through your chest. Deep inhale through your shoulders, up into your neck. Exhale, let it go. Good. Walk your hands in front of you, and then walk your fingertips away from you. Kind of noticing how that feels. If it feels okay, you can bring your forearms down to your mat. Maybe let your head hang heavy. Maybe shaking your head yes and no. And then noticing how your low back is feeling today. Inhale, walk your fingertips closer to you and then again behind you. So high up on your fingertips, roll your shoulders back and down, pinching your shoulder blades together. Gaze goes up. Deep inhale and exhale, walk your fingertips forward and away from you. Good. You have blocks, using them to support your forearms right here is a great choice. And inhale, slowly coming back to center. Beautiful. Let's flip around to our hands and knees. Starting to move through cat and cow. Let's just start with our hands, really grounding the palms of your hands into your mat. Stacking your wrists underneath your elbows that are underneath your shoulders. So one straight line. Rotate your elbows and just notice how that feels through your shoulders and through your arms. Facing your elbow creases in toward one another. Rock back and forth on your knees and just kind of notice the weight transfer. Try and get it as evenly as possible between your two legs, knees stacked under hips. Inhale, very slowly start to lift your tailbone up toward the sky. Belly drops down towards the ground and gaze goes up toward the sky. Good. Cow pose, spinal extension. Opposite of what we've been doing all day. Breathe here. Exhale, start to round through the back, bringing the tailbone under, arching through the spine. Chin goes closer to chest. Good. Shaking the head yes and no if that feels okay. Cat pose, spinal flexion. Start to move through these two poses in your own breath and time. And just noticing if it feels better to pause at the top and the bottom of the movement, or if it feels better just to move through them. Trying to match breath with movement. As you inhale, gaze goes up. As you exhale, gaze goes down. Then moving one more time in each direction. Coming back to a neutral spine. And then moving your hips from side to side. Allowing your hip to fall out to the left side and then the right side. Good. And then maybe your gaze follows. So as your hip falls to the right, look to the right. Your hip falls to the left, look to the left. Lateral flexion of the spine, side to side. Beautiful. One more time in each direction. Then inhale, coming back to center. Let's ground in through the right leg, through the right knee, and lift the left foot behind us. Flexing that foot. Using that glute to hold us up. Good. This feels okay. You feel stable through that glute. Start to hug in through your core. Lift your right hand in front of you and breathe here. Good. We're going to call this class today the class of try. I'm going to give you a lot of opportunities to do weird poses today. And all I ask is you entertain the idea for the briefest second that you could try and do that. So starting out, bring your right hand to the right side. Bring your left leg to the left side and hover it for as long as you can. Woo! Good. Exhale, come back to center with both of them. Set them down and shake out through your hips. Good. Just moving your hips from side to side. We're going to try that again on that side. So inhale when you're ready. Left foot comes behind you. Right hand comes in front of you. This time, bend your left knee. Just notice how that feels. Then maybe think about reaching back for that foot. What would that feel like to try and reach for it? Doesn't matter if you grab it. If you can grab a pant leg, do that. If you have a strap, do that. You can hold it for 1 second, do that. And release. Good. Exhale, come back down. Beautiful. Let's extend that left leg out to the side again. So we're going to let that foot come down. Rotate the toes out. The right wrist is under the right shoulder, and then we're going to extend and expand up. Left hand up to the sky. Good. Breathe here, maybe rolling out through that left wrist. Beautiful. Exhale, left hand comes back down. Left foot comes back in, opposite side. So right foot comes behind us. Flex that right foot. Just hold there. Notice that glute doing work. We want the right wrist under the right shoulder before we lift that left hand. Breathing there. Saying thank you to that core. It's always working. We only notice it in the poses where we notice it too much. Good. Thinking about bringing that left hand to the left side. That right foot to the right side and hover it. And breathe. I don't know why, but this pose pisses me off. I'm going to do it. Just a couple more breaths. And exhale, come back to center. Set everything back down. Reset. Maybe move out through those hips. You can roll out through the wrists. When you are ready, left foot comes behind you. This time, bend the left knee, pointing the left toes up. Right hand comes out in front of you. And then think about reaching back with that right hand, grabbing the inside of the foot, the outside of the foot, the pant leg, anything. Good. Just for one moment, I want you to entertain the idea. And if you have the bind, kick your foot up to get it higher. Beautiful. Exhale. Whew. Release. Good. Shake the hips out side to side. The child's pose. So wide knees, big toes touching. Walk your hands forward, forehead down. And breathe here. Good. Breathing into that low back. Breathing into your hips. Breathing into your low belly. Inhale. Slowly coming back up to tabletop. Tucking the toes under. Bring your hips high. Downward facing dog. Pedaling out through your feet. Just spend a couple breaths here, just noticing how this feels. Change it up if it feels weird. Maybe step your feet in closer, further apart, maybe wider stance, bending your knees deeper. Try something different. Then inhale, gaze goes in between your hands. Walk your feet forward one at a time to a forward fold. Blocks are great here if you have them, or just bend your knees deep enough to get all 10 fingertips down on the mat. Let your head hang heavy. Rock side to side. Good. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins, half lift. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Good. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale, hands to shins, half lift. Really pressing your hands away from you. Exhale, down to the mat. Good. One more time. Inhale, hands to shins. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. Beautiful. Deeper bend through your knees. Inhale, both hands up overhead. Extended mountain gaze goes up towards the ceiling or the sky. Palms together, then palms down through heart center. Good. Inhale, both hands up overhead. Exhale, hinge through the hips, bend through the knees, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step your feet back. Downward facing dog. From here, we're going to shift forward to high plank. Knees or toes, your choice, either way. Elbow creases facing forward and then lower down. Good. Inhale, pressing into the palms of your hands. Coming into cobra. Maybe lifting your toes behind you. Final extension. Exhale, lower down. Push back to hands and knees. Tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Good. 5 deep breaths right here. Try and bring that heart rate back down. Breathing in through your nose. Out through your mouth. Good. Even 2 more deep breaths. That heart rate can drop even more. Beautiful. Inhale, gaze goes in between your hands. Walk your feet forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Slight bend through the knees. Sit back with the hips. Inhale all the way up. Hands overhead, extended mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Inhale, both hands up. Exhale, slight bend through the knees, hinge through the hips, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step your feet back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward, high plank, shoulders stacked over wrists, elbow creases forward, trying to get our chest and our belly to touch the mat at the same time. Good. Inhale, cobra, or maybe keeping your feet down and pressing up more, lengthening through your elbows, listening to your low back. This is pinching through your low back. Add more bend it. Wherever you're at, pushing back either to toes or knees. Downward facing dog. 5 breaths. Good. Maybe finding movement here through your feet, pedaling them, bending your knees, trying to press your chest closer to your thighs without moving your hands or your feet. Bring that heart rate back down, and remembering child's pose is always an option right here. If you feel like that serves you better today, take it. Inhale, gaze goes in between your hands. Exhale, step forward. Good. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. Deep bend through your knees. Inhale, standing all the way up. Extended mountain. Exhale, hands heart center. Good. Step our feet out about hip width apart and sit back into our chair. Hands up overhead. Breathing here. Remembering here, we don't want the low back to be pinching. So if you feel like you're in your chair and you're sitting back so far, it's starting to arch through your back, stand up a little bit. Focus on having a straight line from your fingers all the way down to your shoulders. Breathing here. Utkatasana, fierce pose. Quads burning fiercely. Good. Inhale, expand all the way up. Exhale. Let's sit right back down in it. Good. This time, inhale, hands to heart center. Straight spine on this next part. So think really long spine. Hinge a little bit further forward, bringing your chest closer to the ground. And we're going to exhale and bring our left elbow to our right knee. Twisted chair. Good. And if you're finding this is really tight, you have a block, you can always rest a block on your knee and press into that. Deep breaths here. Good. We did this a couple weeks ago, so I think you guys know where this is going, but we're going to pick up our left toes, or left heel. Just notice how it feels to put more weight into your right foot. We're going to think about stepping back into a lunge. Left foot goes back. Step back. See if you fall, that's okay. And then step forward again. And then step back again. And then step forward again. And then step back and pause. Beautiful. Good. From here, if you have a block, you can put it to the inside or the outside of your foot and open up, extended, expanded. Good. You can also just continue to rest your hands in the twist, or you can bring your hands down to the ground. Twisted lunge. Breathe here. Good. Exhale. Rotate both hands down to either side of that foot. Heel toe it back into center, and then set your back knee down. Good. Here we're going to start to notice hip flexors and hamstrings. So coming up high on the fingertips, picking up that back knee and scooting it back just slightly. Left knee scoots back, starting to lengthen through that left hip flexor. And noticing how it feels. You can come up on knuckles, on blocks, high on fingertips. Breathe here. Good. Exhale. Let's slowly start to walk it back, pulling up on the right toes until we feel that right hamstring start to lengthen. Breathing here. Trying to keep the spine as long as we can. So high fingertips. Good. Exhale. Start to plant that right foot back down, lengthening through the left hip flexor. And inhale back. pulling up on the toes, runner's flow. Start to move through this in your own time, in your own breath. Trying to match breath with your movement. So as you exhale, pushing back, pulling up on your toes. As you inhale, walking forward, lengthening through that hip flexor. Or maybe it feels better to spend a couple breaths in each pose. That's a great option as well. Good, moving one more time in each direction. Slowly making it back to center. Inhale, bring both hands up overhead, still kneeling on that back knee. Not for long though. We're going to tuck those left toes under. Bring that left knee off the mat behind you. High lunge. Grab hold of that left wrist and pull it to the right. We have this crazy deep muscle that connects our bottom of our ribs, our spine, to our hips. It's huge and it's so deep. The psoas muscle, we are lengthening it right here. Deep breath. Ooh, sunshine. Good, exhale, coming back to center, hands to heart center. Moving forward the same way we got here. Exhale, hinge forward. Bring that left elbow to the right knee. Good, and then think about stepping forward to twisted chair. Inhale, untwist, lengthen up. Exhale, slight bend through the knees, hinge to the hips, just fall forward. Good. Heel toe your feet out. And elbows or fingertips to opposite elbows. Just take a rag doll. You can also intertwine your forefingers and bring that to the base of your skull. I always really like doing this. I get really tight through my neck. This can help. Just gently pulling down. Deep breaths. Good. Inhale, slowly heel toeing your feet back in, half lift. Exhale, fingertips back down, deep bend through the knees. Inhale, standing all the way up. Beautiful. Hands to heart center, then pull it down. So good. Step your feet out so they're about hip width apart, and then sitting back into that chair. Noticing how that feels before we move anywhere else. Deep breath. You can bring your hands up overhead. Feeling that core engagement. Rooting down through the heels of our feet. Good. Hands to heart center. Bring your hands and your chest closer down. So we're just hinging more through the hips. This time we are bringing right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Again, if you have a block and you place it on the outside of your knee, you use it to bring your knee a little bit closer to you. Start to come up on your right heel. Kind of notice how that feels. Transfer the weight. Good. And then maybe think about stepping back with that right foot and stepping forward with that right foot. Stepping back. Forward one more time, back, and stay. So good. Deep breath. In through your nose, out through your mouth. You can always take a block to the outside of the foot here and expand your arms out, getting a deeper twist. Good. Exhale. Bringing your hands back down. Heel toe your left foot so it's in the middle of your mat. And then bring that knee down. Runner's flow. Starting slow, just creep that right knee back a little bit more. So when we're doing a hip flexor stretch, something that people will always do is try and drive their front knee forward more to get that length behind us. That's actually not super great for our front knee. So we always want to make sure that that front knee is in line with your ankle and you're moving your back knee back to fill the length. Breathing there on your knuckles, on blocks, on high fingertips. Noticing if there is one hip flexor that's tighter and the other today. Good. When you are ready, starting to transition, walking your hands back, pulling up on your left toes. Hamstring stretch, breathing in to that hamstring. Exhale, walk your fingertips forward. Coming back to that hip flexor. Exhale, walk your hands back. Pulling up on those left toes. Starting to move at your own pace. Just feeling out these muscles. Noticing what feels good, maybe stopping there for a couple breaths. Creating some movement. One more time in each direction. Good. Coming back to a neutral stance, maybe scooting that back knee in just a little bit. Bringing both hands up overhead, really tall spine first, tucking those right toes under. Bring that right knee off the mat. High lunge. Good. Pulling that right wrist to the left. Iliopsoas muscle on the opposite side. Deep side stretch. Exhale, coming back to center. Both hands palms together overhead. And bring your hands to heart center. Hinging forward through the hips. Connecting that right elbow outside of the left knee. And then stepping forward. Good. Inhale, untwist, expand up. Bend through the knees, hinge through the hips, fall forward. Good. Heel toe your feet out. Wider stance. You can find ragdoll again, fingertips to opposing elbows. Just rock back and forth. Good. Inhale. Slowly sitting back through your sit bones. Inhale up into chair. We are going to do a sequence we normally don't do in this class. It's called Sun Salutation Surya Namaskar B. So we normally just do A series. B is a little bit more involved. So we're going to do that, get our heart rate up, try something new. So inhale, both hands up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward through the hips, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins. Exhale, plant your hands down, step your feet back, moving into a vinyasa. So shift forward, high plank, knees or toes lower down. Inhale up. Exhale back. Good. Inhale, lift your right leg to the sky, bend your knee, plant your right foot in between your hands, circle that left foot down, inhale up, warrior one. We're not staying here long. Exhale, go right back down. Step back, shift forward, high plank, another vinyasa, knees or toes lower down. Inhale, up dog, exhale, down dog. Lift that left leg up behind you, bend the knee, bring the foot in front, beautiful. Circle that back heel down. Inhale, warrior one. Ooh, exhale, back down. Step back. Good. Shift forward, high plank, knees or toes lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, back. Down dog. 5 deep breaths. Good. That was one sun salutation. That definitely gets your heart rate up. Try and bring it back down. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Remembering child's pose is always an option. Inhale, slowly making your way back into downward facing dog. Just that right foot behind you. Good, maybe getting a little bit higher this time, pointing the toes. Maybe bending the right knee and straightening, bending and straightening. Bend the right knee, bring it tight under your chest, shoulders stacked over wrists and paws. Good, we're gonna extend falling star. I'm doing all of my least favorite poses today. So we're going to bring our right foot to the left outside of the mat. And we're gonna rotate on that back foot and open up left hand to the ceiling. Wow, why does it hurt? So bad, yes. We can try. Come back, bring that leg behind you, get it even higher. Exhale, hand in between, or foot in between the hand. Circle the back foot down, inhale, warrior one. Good job, you guys. Woo! Check in with the body. You can bring your hands down to heart center. Bring that heart rate back down. And once that heart rate's come down, take a look at that front knee. We always want to be able to see those front toes. Deeper bend you get in this front knee, the more burn you're going to feel, the more strength you will build. So you choose what kind of class you want to have this week. Inhale, both hands up overhead, just to open up into warrior two. Maybe heel toe your back foot. Deeper bend through that front knee, gaze fixed over the right hand. Breathe here, good. Again, hands can be out to your side, strong warrior arms, where you can bring your hands to heart center. Your arms are out to the side, roll your shoulders down one, create some more space. Good, exhale. Just bring your hands down to your sides. And then notice where your hips are facing. So if you have a hand on each hip, I'm really facing the side of my mat. Try and pivot your hips so your back foot's at an angle and you're facing the front corner of your mat. So just kind of turn back into that warrior one stance. Then from here, you're just going to let your hands come behind you by your tailbone. You're going to roll your shoulders back and down. Clasp your hands behind your back. If this feels too tight or too sensational, you can always grab a jacket and hold on to that. If this feels okay here, just breathe, chest facing the sky or the ceiling, gazes up, opening up through the front body. Good, exhale. If you would like, slowly starting to hinge forward through your hips, coming into humble warrior. Options here, you can let your shoulder and your chest rest on your right thigh, or you can move and let your core hold you up. 2 deep breaths wherever you're at. This is too sensational for your shoulders. You can always drop your bound hands down to your tailbone, or let them rest on the ground. Good, exhale. Both hands come down to the mat. Bring your right elbow to your right knee. Left hand comes up overhead. Good, breathing here. Gaze goes up towards the sky. Option to find the bind we did a couple weeks ago. So we're going to bend through our left elbow and bring our left hand. We're going to see if we can touch our right hip with it. And that's the start of it. That's the start of our try. You feel like you can get that hip. Maybe you're at your back. You're almost there. Breathe there. Option number 2 is to take that right hand underneath the inside of the right leg and bind your hands. And breathe. 2 breaths. Beautiful. Releasing wherever you're at. Hands come to either side of that foot. Step back. Ooh, lift that foot up to the sky. Think of vinyasa, but let's try and do it one-footed. Should we? Maybe. I don't know. Ask yourself. Check in. Step forward to high plank, keeping your right foot lifted, and then lower down. Oh. Good, upward facing dog. Beautiful. Exhale back, child's pose or down dog, your choice. 3 deep breaths. Bring that heart rate back down. Inhale, slowly making your way back into downward facing dog. Good, lift that left leg behind you. Bring it even higher, maybe bending through that left knee, rolling out through that left ankle. Bend your left knee, square your hips off, and then bring your left knee tight under your chest. Option to stay here, breathe here, work here, or extend that left foot out to the right side of your mat, and maybe you stay right here and breathe right here. Maybe you pivot, left hand stays down, right hand comes up. Breathe wherever you are at. Exhale, unwind, you can still mad. Point your left foot up to the ceiling, then exhale, plant it in front of your mat. Beautiful. Rotate the right foot down, inhale up with the arms, warrior one. Good job. Deep inhale, deep exhale again. Hands can come down to heart center. Trying to find some deep inhales, deep exhales. Bring that heart rate back down even though you're working still. Finding a soft edge in a hard place. Opening out, warrior two. Maybe stepping back a little bit further with your back foot bending more through your front knee, gaze over the left middle knuckle. Breathing here. Pulling your belly button into your spine, strong core. Good. Exhale, just let your hands come down to your sides. And then put your hands on your hips. Notice where your hips are. We want your hips to be facing the side corner of your mat, the side right corner of your mat. Just pivoting. And then bring both hands behind you and think about binding your hands behind your back. And just breathing there, rolling your shoulders back and down, opening up through your chest. Gaze goes up towards the ceiling. Good. Option to stay right here, breathe right here. Or if you would want to bend a little bit more through that left knee and then start to hinge through your hips, coming into humble warrior. Good. Gaze somewhere down on the inside of your foot. Deep breath. Good work. Good. Exhale, slowly releasing the bind. Hands down, just long enough to bring that left elbow up to that left knee. Right hand rotates up overhead. Good. Side angle pose. This yoga pose has 23 health benefits. Even before we start binding and doing weird things with our hands, it's healing 23 things in your body. So option two, stay right here. You want to bend through your right elbow. Bring that right arm behind your back. See if you can start to touch that crease, that left hip crease. Maybe you breathe right here, working on stretching that shoulder out. Option to bend a little bit deeper through your right or left knee. Then bring your left hand underneath the inside of your leg and bind behind you. Wherever you are at, deep breath. Beautiful. Unbind, hands down, either side of that foot. Step back, left foot in the air. We can do a vinyasa with our left leg up. Shifting forward to high plank, maybe just stopping here. Maybe this is where you're at today. Maybe you come down onto that right knee first, left leg lifted, and then lower down. Good. Both feet down. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale back, pick a child's pose. Good, just breathe. More deep breaths, bringing that heart rate back down. All forward, coming back up into tabletop. Inhale, hips up to the sky, downward facing dog. Inhale, gaze looks forward. This time before stepping forward, bend a little bit through your knees, imagining you're loading up a spring with your knees. Imagine hopping forward, so hopping your hands in, or hopping your feet in between your hands. You don't have to do it today, but just imagine it. If you would like to load your legs up like a spring and hop forward, try that. If you want to step forward, you can. We could try. Think about it. Good. Forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, lift. Exhale, hands down to the mat, deep bend through your knees. Inhale, both hands up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Work on the balance just a little bit today. So hands to heart center, close your eyes, just shift your feet from side to side. Good, and then put more weight in your left foot than you have in your right. Really rooting into that left foot. Ball of the big toe, heel of the foot, pinky side of the toe. From here, we're going to bend our right knee and just bring our right foot off the ground. Good. Then we're going to open up through that right knee. And just before you get your right foot to touch your left calf, stop. I'm going to use those leg muscles to do the work today. No resting. Ooh, windy tree. Good, breathe here. Notice that that takes a little bit more strength through that inner hip muscle on your right side. Good. Bend or bring your right knee forward and then shoot your right foot back, coming into three-legged dog. You don't have to come all the way down, but just bring that leg behind you. Beautiful. And then come back up, right knee in front of you, and then open out without touching calf to foot. Tree. Good. Let's start moving through that. Shift that leg back. Flowing tree. Bending the knee up. Bringing the knee out. Good. Start moving through that at your own pace. Feels like Tai Chi. Good. Deep breath. If you fall out of it, come right back into it. Excellent. Let's find that tree again without touching the foot to the calf. Hands up overhead. Woo. So good. Bring the hands to the hips. Extend that right foot out in front of you. Inhale, give it a little bit higher. Exhale, back down. Good. Bring your right foot to the outside of your left foot. So you're just going to cross your feet so your pinky sides are touching. And just tall spine here, hands on your hips. Start to hinge forward through your hips. Bring your hands down to the direction of the ground. Maybe high fingertips, maybe blocks. But allow that leg to lengthen out here. Letting your head become heavy. Deep breath. Inhaling all the way up into that left a T-band. So start to lean more weight onto the left foot and lengthen out. Good. Inhale, hands come up to hips, all the way back up to standing, unwind, heel toe out through your feet. Try the other side. Good. So hands up overhead. Hands start center. Start to notice your right foot. 80% of your weight in that right foot. Rounding down through the heel, through the ball of the big toe, and through the pinky side. Good. Thinking about bringing that left foot off the ground and just bending the knee, noticing how that feels. And maybe opening up through that left hip. Foot comes so close to calf, but you're still holding it up. Good. Exhale, bring that knee back to the front, and then shoot it behind you. Bring your chest closer down to the mat. Three-legged dog. Good. Inhale to come up. Left knee comes in front of you and opens up to the side. Back to the front. Shoot it behind you. Beautiful. Keep coming back to this. One more time. So good. Coming back to that unsupported tree pose. Leg out. Use those tiny muscles that are up in your hips that are screaming at you. Inhale, both hands up overhead. Good. Exhale, hands to hips. Lengthen out that left leg. Oh, beautiful. Inhale, get a little bit higher. Exhale, back down. Good. This time crossing your left foot over your right. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, hinge forward through the hips. Hands down. Good. Let your head hang heavy, leaning most of your weight onto your right foot. Shaking head yes and no. Good. Inhale. Slowly coming back up, unwinding those feet. Beautiful. Inhale, we're going to take the feet wide and just very subtly have a wide stance with your toes facing out so they're not straight on. So you have some space for your knees. Inhale, we're going to sit back and we're going to come into a low squat. So depending on how your knees feel and how your hips feel, just go to where you can. If you have like 12 blocks, you can build them up here and sit on them. I don't have those, so I'm just going to do this. You can also come down a little bit lower, maybe hang on to your mat, hang on to something, and breathe here. Yogi squat, garland squat. Deep breath. If you're up here, lengthen out and then come right back into it. Good. Maybe your heels come off the ground. That's okay. Couple deep breaths. Noticing where your armpits are in relation to your knees. This is practice for crow pose, which we're going to do next. Give try. So set your hands down. You can lengthen out through your hips, send your hips high. Setting up for crow pose. So there's two ways to do this. Coming high up on your toes, you can get your knees into your armpits. And you're just balancing your knees on your armpits. You're leaning forward until you get more weight into your hands than your feet. Or you can bring your knees to the outside and hug in as well. I can't do that, but John can. So give that a try. Spend some time here shifting forward, putting more weight into your hands than you would like. Good. Maybe coming up high on your toes, maybe lifting one toe and the other. Good. One more breath. Try something here. Beautiful. Exhale. Lengthen your legs out behind you. Downward facing dog. Pedal out through those feet. Good. Exhale. Come down to the knees. And then swing around. Hips down. Knees in front. Beautiful. Rocking side to side on your hips, just feeling your sit bones underneath you. Grow your spine a little bit taller. Hands in line with your hips. Fingertips facing forward. Rolling your shoulders back and down. Inhale, gaze goes up towards the ceiling. Pressing your hands down into your mat. Maybe engaging through your quads, seeing if you can get the heels of your feet to come off the mat. Good, one more deep breath. Exhale, release. Maybe rolling out through your wrists, through your ankles. Good. Bending through your knees, bringing the soles of your feet down to the mat. We can't not have boat pose on the week of try. So walking your toes back towards you. We want to sit, we don't want to be on the tailbone because that's not going to be comfortable, but it's the spot right before you hit the tailbone. So really tall spine here. Hugging your hands to the backs of your legs. Maybe just rotate, bring one foot up and then the other. Alternating boat. This is good core movement. Maybe think about bringing both of your feet up at the same time. Breathing here, tall spine, don't let that low back curl. Maybe bringing your hands out to the sides, palms facing up. Breathe. Good, one more breath. Exhale, cross your legs, plant your hands down either side and lift your hips off of the ground. And maybe lift 1 foot off of the ground. And maybe lift 2 feet off of the ground. I can't do that one. Inhale back into boat pose, whatever version you had. 3 breaths. Boat pose. Exhale, cross your legs, opposite leg forward, pressing into your hands. Lift your hips again, and maybe you can lift 3 of your toes. Maybe you can lift 1 foot. See what you can lift. Try. Exhale, back down and release. Hard. Good, rock out side to side. We're going to bend our right knee, bring the right sole of our foot in so it's matching about where your knee is, maybe a little bit higher than your knee if that feels okay. And we want about a fist width between our foot and our left leg. From here, we're going to plant our left hand down and kind of shift our weight so we're more on our left sit bone than our right. Inhale your right hand up overhead. Exhale, reach your right hand forward so you can get them beyond your toes. And then you are going to wrap your right hand around your shin. So like my elbow crease hugs into my shin. Yeah, try that. Be there. See what that feels like. And maybe start to think about that left hand wrapping around your back and binding. Good, breathe here. Maybe you grab hold of your shirt. Maybe your hands are just tugging behind you. Try something a little bit uncomfortable. Good, one more deep breath. Exhale, release. Legs out long in front of you, shaking out through your knees. Good, inhale, bending your left knee. About a fist width in between your right leg and your left foot. And we're going to shift our weight onto our right sit bone. Inhale, left arm overhead. Exhale, that right arm is, or that left arm, sorry, is going to come beyond your toes, reaching forward as far forward as you can get. And then start to wrap your left arm around the front of your left shin. Good. And pause there. Notice how that feels. And maybe start thinking about bringing your right hand behind you. See if you can grab hold of that hand. No idea what this pose is called. Breathe here. One more deep inhale. Exhale, release. Beautiful, both legs out long. Shake out through your knees and making your way down to your back. Putting your shins into your breathing. Good. Exhale, knees come back to center. Eyes closed. Working hard to stay present with your body. Noticing the sounds that you may be experiencing around you. And realizing that you can let those sounds happen. You can let them to continue to exist without noticing them, without reacting to them. You find that your mind has wandered off. That's okay. That's its job to process. Just keep coming back to your body, how your body feels right now, how the lungs feel as they rise and fall, how the temperature of the room feels on your skin. What does it feel like to be in your body? You belong here in your body. Slowly starting to wiggle your fingers and toes. Taking some deeper inhales and exhales. Maybe taking a full body stretch, lengthening out. Coming either to your left or your right hip into a fetal position. And when you are ready, coming up to a seat, legs crossed, your legs long out in front of you. Option to bring your hands to heart center. Thumbs pressing up against your sternum, just pressing up against your heart. The divine light that is in me deeply honors and sees that same divine light that's in you. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free. Namaste.